Hey guys, I'm Jean and this is Woodshop Junkies. Not too long ago, with my previous big project, my all-in-one woodworking workstation almost complete, I started thinking about my next big project. And after a bit of pondering, I decided to revisit a project that I've wanted to do for some time, but never got around to it due to a large number of obstacles and limitations. About 5 years ago, I identified a hill in the countryside against which I would like to build a lookout type deck, a place to enjoy sunsets and scenery with good friends and family. But due to the location of the hill and the circumstances around working there, I only recently felt brave enough to attempt it. The first obstacle is the location of the hill. It's about 400 kilometers away, or 250 miles, and it is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. So I have to leave here with all my equipment and material, because a quick pop out for a supply run is not going to be possible. The second problem is the hill is quite steep with no road access, so getting equipment and materials to the top is not going to be easy. To make matters worse, there is no stable electricity supply with the exception of a few solar panels and a small generator, and fresh drinking water is in short supply. And the final challenge, and this is a big one, is money. I'm doing this build on a very tight budget, which means cheaper materials, creative solutions and cheap labor. That's why I enlisted a build team of friends and family with no real skills, because you don't get cheaper labor than friend labor.
Gives it 2 days to cure. It has to cure though.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yes.
I'm not saying it because I'm lazy. Like,
we're gonna mess it up, yes.
yeah.
Keep this look.
Do you I mean, you're editing.
We're gonna be bleeping everything.
I don't regret this. But for the people that have been following my channel for some time, I realize this is a bit of a break from the norm, but this project, besides the fact that I've wanted to do it for some time, has become about bringing friends closer and having fun building something. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
All of us, including our girlfriends, were quite excited to get rolling. So the next morning, we got together nice and early to load up and hit the road. Soon after starting, however, our trip hit its first snag when we realized the trailer I borrowed for the trip was fitted with the incorrect spare wheel. Lucky for us, a generous neighbor could help us out so we could hit the road just slightly behind schedule. We had just gotten rolling when I was unfortunate enough to realize that my rear shock absorbers were worn and I was unable to tow the trailer. Luckily my friend could take over and we could finally hit the road properly. After leaving late due to a spare wheel problem, stopping to switch the trailer, having to wait 45 minutes for David to buy a burger, and dropping off Tinus's bike before hitting the dirt road, we arrived on site only 4 hours later than planned. Keeping in mind that many of the people involved with this build have never been to this area before, and I myself haven't been here in months, we headed up the hill to pick the perfect spot for our deck. A spot that needed to be relatively flat to allow us to work there more comfortably. We also needed the ability to manipulate the ground so we can plant the posts for the deck. This was the tricky part, considering the hill was pretty much a solid rock covered in a thin layer of dirt. The problem with this was the fact that we wouldn't be able to shape the rocks, as we would have no electricity at the top and would be completely reliant on cordless power tools. By the time we picked our spot, we were losing light, so we went down and had a relaxed evening, because the next day we would need to carry up more than half a ton of material to get started.
I don't know why it's coming towards us.
The next morning I was the first out of bed, so I went for a quick walk with my dogs before heading home to wake everyone.
Alright, so today, all I want to do today is...
On this day, we needed to pour the rear slab and fix the two front posts of the deck. A task that seemed simple enough on paper, but keep in mind our sand, cement and water needed to be carried up the hill. We also needed to take up a few planks to build a box for the slab and some digging equipment.
We need wood to build the box, we need water for the cement, we're going to get sand.
While discussing our game plan for the day, we decided we would drive our material as close as possible to the site, so we wouldn't have to carry it all the way. So we dug up some sand and loaded it with the rest of the material. The most logical approach with a vehicle was from the far left of the hill, where the incline was less steep.
Okay guys,
The weather was not very forgiving, so by the time we got all our material to the top, we had a quick break before jumping on assembling the box needed to pour the slab.
Yeah, but I think we build the box first and we're not going to build the box. We'll build the block.
The slab was going to be our reference point for all the work that followed, so extra care was taken to ensure that it was indeed 100% level, a task that was made harder by the fact that we had no specialized equipment for pouring cement slabs. Just to level the ground to place the box was already taking longer than planned due to all the rocks, while the excessive heat coupled with no wind was taking its toll on everyone. placed a single layer of smaller rocks inside the box and then made a strong but runny cement mix. We did this in the hope of allowing the air to escape when we pour, so the mixture could fill the gaps between the rocks. This was important considering we didn't have a cement poker. While Tinus carried on pouring and leveling the slab, the rest of us started making the holes for the front posts. But we quickly found ourselves hammering into solid rock. The fastest and easiest solution was to raise the hole instead of trying to dig it deeper. We did this by cutting wheels out of the stainless steel drum and placing them over the hole. For the posts, we used tarred poles that could resist the elements so we could set them inside the cement. A practice that is sometimes frowned upon because it can create an environment for the wood to rot, but considering the poles are drenched in tar and this is a very low rainfall area, we felt comfortable doing it this way. After this, we followed the same procedure as we did with the slab, by placing a layer of rocks between each layer of cement we pour. The rocks also did a great job at keeping the posts straight, so no additional bracing was required. We would later build another cement structure between the two posts to carry the bulk of the weight in the front. But at this point, we called it a day to allow the cement to cure, a process that was greatly accelerated by the excessive heat. Everyone was exhausted, so we had something to eat and rested up, because the next day we get to do it all again. If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, because day 3 and 4 will follow shortly. Thanks for watching, till next time. Cheers.